During much of the early 1940s, the Axis powers of Nazi Germany had conquered essentially all of Europe. They were a large opposing force to the Allies, with massive troops and a large influence over several states. The only areas that remained safe from the tyranny were several neutral states such as Sweden, Spain, and Portugal. The Nazis needed to be stopped, but were nearly impenetrable, so liberation would have been impossible. However, the leader of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin, who had been attacking the Nazis in the East, had been attempting to persuade U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill to make an invasion to the west of Nazi Germany. The intention was to have a collaborative effort between the United States and the United Kingdom's Army, Naval, and Air Force branches to overwhelm Nazi opposition until they could successfully begin liberating Western Europe. The Allies, though, had several disputes, and, in addition, a plan such as the one mentioned would have taken massive amounts of planning and preparation, which the US wasn't entirely ready for, as it was still relatively new to the war, and was still developing proper warfare. However, it wouldn't be until 1943, where the Allies had a more situated strategical position, that they'd begin planning for this attack. Soon, several individuals were assembled to discuss the plan, with General Dwight Eisenhower from the United States being the commander of the whole thing, leading the operation that would soon be given the codename Operation Overlord. It had been decided that the invasion would take place at the beaches of Normandy, France, due to its geographical location being closer to Britain's air force, and also due to its low amount of offense compared to other areas. Several parts of the beaches were given specific names set for strategic planning. The names were Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. U.S. soldiers were set to be at Utah and Omaha, while British and Canadian soldiers were set to be at Gold, Juno, and Sword. After several months of training and preparation for the invasion, it was finally time for all the work to be executed. And on June 6, 1944, over 100,000 Allied soldiers were stepping onto the shores of Normandy at dawn, ready for the fight of their lives. Along with them, almost 300 fighting vessels were set to fire at Nazi opposition, not to mention several tanks and aircrafts in addition. This entire debacle would not only go down as a complete success, but also go down in human history as the largest sea invasion ever possible. Out of the over 100,000 Allied soldiers who had stepped onto the beaches of Normandy to begin with, over 10,000 of them would unfortunately perish. However, their deaths wouldn't go in vain, as the invasion paved way for the entire liberation of France, which would eventually implicate the end of the war. Nevertheless, the whole ordeal, from Normandy to all of France, unfortunately led to the death of over 500,000 soldiers on both the Allied and Axis powers. With the hundreds of thousands of casualties during the Battle of Normandy, over 20,000 German troops fled during the liberation of France, and by August 25, 1944, not only had several of France's states been liberated, but the German general Dietrich von Choltitz had been arrested and was forcibly made to surrender his forces. So, with many of France's states secure and more on the way, this tremendous breakthrough for the Allied powers called not only for celebration, but also remembrance of those who lost their lives for the pursuit of the greater good. The Colleville-sur-Mer, a commune in France, has a memorial ground that houses over 9,000 of the 10,000 American soldiers who died on the beaches in Normandy. It still stands to this day and overlooks Omaha Beach. While there are many memorial grounds that commemorate the battle, this one is considered more iconic than the rest, especially since several U.S. presidents, starting with Jimmy Carter in 1978, have gone to pay their respects. Though the Battle of Normandy was a small footnote compared to the rest of World War II, it was a significant blow to the Nazis' stubborn defenses, and without the valiant efforts of those in the Allied powers to make it a reality, it wouldn't have been conceptualized in the first place. This concludes my game about Operation Overlord. Feel free to explore the memorial, and when you're finished, you can go ahead and quit the game or go to the main menu. Thank you for playing. I hope this was very informative.